All right, we rolling.
Hey.
There we go.
Hey. Okay. There we go, Keyel. Get your shit on.
Let's go.
Get your shit
Put
on.
your hands up right now. We in the building.
Out of cyber, out of mind. I can't lie, I'm detached. I've been dying. I've been flying.
Wait, this the remix? The remix? Hey, Chase, we need you on this one. Well, a little. Nifty, we need you on it. We need you on it. Yo. Welcome to the Free Game Podcast.
It's Free Game.
Live from LA, Dash Radio. Hey. I'm your host, Smiles.
Free for now.
We got Seez in the building. We got Keyel in the building. We got Alexander Ochoa the third in the building. Ezra's in the building. Silent Assassin. Mm-hmm. Don't sleep on Ezra. He'll take you down. He's done some shit.
No, I already know. I can tell.
I'm not trying to out you on public radio, but Keyel in the building somewhere, running around somewhere. What's up, guys?
Man, what's
how
the
y'all
deal?
doing?
Man,
how y'all
amazing.
doing?
How are we all doing?
It's Friday.
It's beautiful.
It's Friday.
Job.
Sun's out. The short skirts is out. The sweaters are off. It's a good day in LA.
Right.
Very little obligations in the air, so let's go.
That's how I know when summer's coming around, when the outfits change. You feel me? Like,
oh yeah.
I hopped out the train and looked around and said, "Oh shit, it's about to be summer."
Vibe
All
change.
these girls is half naked out
Vibe
here.
change, yep.
It's lit. It's lit. We got half naked girls like 9 months out of the year,
Right.
guys.
It never rains in Southern California.
It's lit.
This year's been somewhat cloudy though, but it's good to see we've been on a streak though. It's been amazing.
Yeah, it was
Like
cold as
weather-wise.
shit this winter though.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Some-
lie.
yeah.
I was freezing my ass off in our little shipping container.
Felt like a New York vibe.
Oh,
Yeah, that
definitely.
shipping container is wild. that space is like a space shuttle. I'm gonna call it the space shuttle.
For those of you who don't know, me and Alex live in a shipping container somewhere in East LA.
Tiny homes.
It's wild.
Definitely, no, it's definitely tiny homes.
Definitely
It's
tiny
100% tiny homes.
Hey,
That's the future.
TLC, hit us up for the special. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right. Studio / tiny home.
All right, Free Game Podcast Dash Radio live from LA. Man, first things first. Rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah,
You know, the great. Not only a great musician and rapper, but a businessman, inspiration, activist,
100%.
philanthropist. Man, I'm still not over it. You know what I mean? It's still, I still think about it daily. Still bumping the records. Keep playing Victory Lap. Keep playing Crenshaw. Keep playing all that shit. He owns the rights to his shit, so every play goes back to him, which is a beautiful thing.
I definitely dropped a tear. The next day, the first day, it was kind of like, oh, okay, this is dreamy almost in a very surreal way, and then it turned for me, and it threw me off. I didn't think it was going. I don't know.
Not completely.
Yeah.
I feel you. I was crying my eyes out the whole funeral or the whole celebration of life. That shit was crazy. Did none of y'all went to the celebration of life?
I was not there.
No, I didn't get to see it. I heard a couple things. I heard the speeches were amazing. They were all really, really strong.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the actual service, it was beautiful, but man, Staples Center got to square up. Somebody at Staples Center got to square up. Somebody at AXS or whatever promotion company, Live Nation, somebody got to square up.
What do you expect though when you got an event like that for free? The people are gonna get bombarded.
That shit was disrespectful, bro. That shit was disrespectful.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, that's the people doing that. That's not Staples.
Nah, but so this is my whole thing. If you're gonna do an event like that, where you're not making bread, do it for real. Because they handle that shit so poorly. It's like, okay, word, you did this shit to look good, but you actually don't give a fuck about this. You don't give a fuck about this man, about his family. And I guarantee you that wasn't for free. I guarantee you someone footed that bill. You know what I mean? Somebody somewhere footed that bill. But that shit was so disrespectful. I've worked in events for a long time. I knew exactly what it was. Whoever the boss, whoever didn't think or didn't know who Nipsey was, didn't think it was going to be popping, didn't think people were going to pull up. It's a funeral. They're not going to make money at the bar or whatever. So it was skeleton crew, half-staffed, No one's really on point. And then 20,000 tickets are sold. And on top of that, you got another 10,000 people straight from the streets trying to push their way in.
Whole another vibe, whole nother
you know what I mean? And
environment.
they were not prepared. Not prepared at all. It's 50 metal detectors, but like 5 humans to control a mob of 50,000 people. It was crazy.
Very American.
It was crazy.
That's an all-American event. That's a piece of Nipsey, but that's American as fuck.
Nah, it was crazy, man, because the service was supposed to start at 10. I pulled up at probably like 9:30,
Right.
and there's already 20,000 people out front. You know what I mean? And there's one line that's going all the way down the Staples Center. Then there's just another mob of 10,000 people just pushing at the doors,
What?
right? So 10 o'clock rolls around. None of the doors are open. Nobody's getting in. No one knows what's going on. None of the staff knows what's going on. Nobody's saying nothing. I'm trying to ask people like, yo, I actually got a ticket. What's good? Where do I go? Whoop-de-whoop. No one knows anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At some point, they had this little barricade where it was like if you had a ticket, you kind of went into this holding cell. People just got tired of waiting, and people just pushed that shit straight up. And so there's just a mob at the door, and then you start hearing people yell like, hey, we closing all the doors. We not letting anybody in until y'all settle down, until y'all back up, blah, blah, blah. Just like pandemonium. And as soon as that happens, it's like, you know, the service is supposed to start at 10. It's like 10:30 now. People think they're missing this shit. So people are like real hot. People are like running to different entrances. And it's just a all-out free-for-all. Yeah. It's just mobs of people everywhere, shoving, pushing. I was like, and I was trying to like stay off to the cut. I wasn't trying to be in none of that. You know, I had a ticket. I wasn't pressed, blah, blah, blah. I still wind up in this mob of people all pushing the gates. This girl faints. You know, it's like becomes this huge thing. Like, it was an absolute nightmare. Absolute nightmare. They finally opened the doors at 11, an hour later. As they're letting people in, no lines, no nothing, right? You know, 50,000 people all trying to squeeze through 2 little doors.
Right.
Chaos. You get to the front, you go to show the ticket, you could tell the staff is just so overwhelmed. They're like, we don't give a fuck. Just come in. Just come in.
Whoa.
We don't care. Just come in. Just come in.
5.
You know? Just off rip, all bad. You get in there, you go to like find your seats. They're like, yo, just pick a seat. We don't care. Just pick a seat. It's good. Pick a seat. Then you get in there and the shit isn't even full. It's like 2/3 full.
Whoa.
There's empty seats everywhere, you know? And I figure between people having to wait an hour, people had to dip and go to work, whatever, this and that. On top of that, you got Live Nation, how they did it. You just had to put in a zip code, right? So hella people in New York, New Orleans, Michigan, wherever are like getting tickets and then trying to flip them on the internet.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, not even, the whole shit's not even full, you know? You had everyone outside telling people they couldn't get in, turning people away, and now it's like, this shit ain't even full. Yeah. You know what I mean? I ended up dipping early because I was like in such a weird headspace by the time I finally got in, you know, between like it's America in 2019, you know? First thing my mind goes to in a big ass group of people like that is like somebody's gonna shoot this shit up.
Easy.
You know what I mean? Like
easy.
Dead ass. Like,
That's
I'm
not
looking.
an outrageous thought at all.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No,
I was like looking at the like the tops of the building.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not about to get shot.
Exactly.
I'm not getting shot today. You know what I mean? And at South by last year, we were in like a shooting. Well, it wasn't even a shooting. Someone pulled a gun. And because of the crowd of people, it created a stampede, you know? And, like, the stampede was crazier than whatever actually was going down, you know?
For sure.
So with that already in my mind, it's like I was just in a weird space. I got in there. The service was beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, they opened it up. Karen Civil comes out and is like, I'm going to start by reading a letter from our 44th president, Barack Obama, to Nipsey Hussle. You know what I mean? Crying. Off rip. Crying. You know what I mean? Like,
that's top tier.
It was like, it was a beautiful service, but I was just already in a weird space. I was hot that shit wasn't full, and I knew there was people still outside trying to get in, you know?
Crazy.
So I dipped a little early to avoid, like, the chaos of leaving, and low-key, I was still a little, like, scared. You know what I mean?
course,
like
of
I
course.
was like looking around at
Disrupted.
everyone, kind of like, all right, who's gonna be the shooter in here? You know what I mean? Like on some crazy shit. So
Fucked up thought, but it's real.
yes. So I ended up dipping early, and as I left, I saw people still trying to get in that couldn't get in, and it's like this shit isn't full, and you're still. And I see people with tickets, like printed out tickets, who can't get in. So, anyways, long story short, Staples Center fucked that up.
Yeah.
Whoever AXS, whoever like ticketed it, did the whole thing. Fuck y'all. That shit was
Right.
disrespectful.
What are the preventative measures like for all of us? I know you're saying the people, the staff, but like, is it a Live Nation thing where they're putting up the tickets and they're like people in other cities and states are getting it? But that's not the point. The access should be for those who are in the area.
For LA,
Right.
yeah. And that's, I mean, I thought off rip, it should be like, if you have a South Central address, you should be guaranteed a ticket.
That's fire.
You know what I mean?
That's
like,
fire, actually.
if you from,
Yeah.
because who was Nipsey Hussle? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, Nipsey Hussle don't give a fuck about Michigan, you know? He gives a fuck about Slauson and Crenshaw.
Yeah.
So for me, knowing who Nipsey was, it was like, if you're from South Central, you should have been guaranteed a ticket automatically. You shouldn't have to wait in no line, try and get on at 10 a.m. and get the ticket for, you know? Nah, you should be good, you know? Then it should just move out from there. Like, if you have a LA County address, if you have a Riverside County, San Bernardino, San Gabriel, whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
what are they verifying? Like, how do we verify that? How do we ensure?
I mean, that's the hard. You never can, but I mean, a driver's license.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. Send
Yeah.
it in. Yeah.
Send a picture of your driver's license or some shit.
Library card.
Library card.
Something,
right,
you know.
something,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I don't know. That shit just was not
Then
handled
at
right.
that point, does Staples Center want to go through all that work, or they just want to put the hub, get your tickets until the computer crashes, and if you got one, you got one? Because that's what it seemed like. It was just motherfuckers just went on the computer until it crashed, and then if you got it, you got it.
Right.
You didn't, you didn't. And then, you know, just like people, I'm sure even all those people that were out there didn't go on the computer to go. They're just like, I'm going to show up, I'm going to mob in.
Yeah.
Lo and
You
behold.
got to take into all those.
No, I heard
considerations.
I heard this one dude. I wasn't gonna laugh in public because I might not be here, but he was standing in front of me and he's like, "Hey, I'm on the list. Check the list." And the guy was like, the
list.
chicken guy was like, "What list?" He's like, "I'm on the hood list, cuz."
Oh, man. That's when you drop the fools gone wild.
We need that.
He was not playing. He was like,
Hey, I would have let him in. I'll
Yeah,
tell
you
you
got to.
right now.
You have to
I
let him
would've- Oh, sorry, sir. Here's your seat, sir. You want some popcorn with that?
That's so funny.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But it was beautiful seeing how many people pulled up, and I was a little nervous because I tried to get, there was 3 of us all trying to get the tickets at 10 a.m. when they dropped. I was the only one who got through on the site, and you could get up to 4 per person, but it would only let me even get 1, you know?
Yeah.
So it was just already crazy off rip. So I was a little worried when I pulled up that it was going to be a bunch of like white hype beast kids from who drove from like Malibu or something. You know what I mean? Yeah, UCLA kids, Santa Monica, like. But nah, man, it seemed like it was really people from the community, from the hood, from LA. People, there was a lot of people who you could tell knew him. You know what I mean? Like the shirts and pictures they would have, the signs they would have. It's like shit you can't get on the internet.
Right,
You
it
know
was
what I mean?
his picture,
Yeah,
that
like
one-of-a-kind
yeah,
picture,
it's like
like,
okay,
yeah.
word, like, and so that was beautiful to see, like that. You know, his neighborhood really supported, really came out. That was a beautiful thing. But yeah, man, what you were saying, Seez, like how it seemed like Staples just threw that shit out. That's exactly what I'm saying. Is like it seemed like they didn't care. You know what I mean? They were like, "This is a PR move. Let's make ourselves look good. We actually don't give a fuck." It's Staples Center. They host sold out shows.
Yeah.
They host the NBA final. You know what I mean? It's not like they don't know how to do this shit.
Right.
You
That's a
know?
good point. That's a very good point.
No, yeah.
So yeah, that shit was disappointing, but you know.
What's the impact now? What do we do now from this place? Like, does it change culture?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's crazy because we're in this moment. You know what I mean? But they gave me like this little newspaper, and I'm actually pissed because I lost it. But I remember holding it and being like, damn, like one day my grandkids will be like talking about Nipsey or whatever, you know? And I'll be like, yo, I got this paper from the day. You know what I mean? From the memorial service. Like, this is a real life piece of history, an artifact. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I truly, truly believe that because of how impactful Nipsey was, even if people didn't realize when he was living, that his untimely passing is a moment in history that like will go down forever.
Yeah.
You know, that we will talk about forever. That us one day will be the old heads telling the young kids like, hey, I remember when this shit happened. You know what I mean? Like, so.
Yeah. I think it's crazy, too, because, like, the moment is inspiring so many people to see how powerful this music shit can be, you know? Like, how powerful music is and still is, you know, where, like, something like that happens and the community comes together, learns, you know, how to grow from it, and learns also, like, how powerful, like, a figure he was, to where, like, once an untimely loss, you know, happens, everybody can kind of see, like, this still exists, you know? There's still people out here doing music, giving back in a potent way, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, I think, you know, going off of your question, like, I think that's going to be the lasting impression. Just, like, this is a lot more powerful than just Instagram shit or, like, you know, plays or streams. But, like, people are really out here, like, doing crazy things for the community and changing the way you can give back as an artist.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It goes bigger than music. Like, everything he was doing, even to the point, like I said, I was in no way, like, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, but I wasn't a Nipsey fan of his music. I didn't listen to a lot of his shit until after. And the day that he passed, I remember it being like one of those things. It was bigger than social media. It was an actual hurt that everybody was feeling in the way he went out.
Yeah.
And and you go back and you see, you're like, dude, this dude was not only people's favorite rapper, but he was helping them and doing all that shit. And you're just like, damn, like, you can see the way he went out. And you're just like, it was hurtful, man, to see somebody with that much hate take somebody out that was a light to so many people, you know?
Right.
In the hip hop community, this is something that we're pretty familiar with, like the dying of the artist.
Oh, yeah,
like,
unfortunately,
it
yeah.
happens. Unfortunately, right?
It's happened a lot recently,
Yeah,
too.
exactly, and it just constantly happens. Like, when does it ever become a permanent change? Is it ever a permanent change? Like, you're not really hearing about, like, pop stars getting shot at. I mean,
Rarely. That's a good point.
Rarely.
That's a good point. And I mean, I think to even begin to address that, you got to kind of go talk about the uncomfortable reasons that that's something that exists in this culture. You know what I mean? You know, so it's like, why is there just rampant gun violence in the hip hop community? You know what I mean? And I don't think that's an even easy conversation or an easy answer.
No way.
But you know, but you
Not
have
at
to even start to discuss that before you get to how can we prevent this.
Right.
You know,
It's what we talked about last time about the music you make. Does it have to be real? Does it have to be you? Because also, like, by association of that you're around it, it's by nature, it's what you grow up in. Then it's kind of like, what do you expect from me or us or whomever? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you get me out of being who I am?
Yeah. No, and I think there's a really big difference between someone telling their story and someone glorifying something. You know what I mean?
That's fire.
Sure.
And so for me, that's always been like a personal issue, I guess, with a lot of artists, because there's a lot of artists who come from crazy situations and they'll openly talk about it and they'll tell you stories, but it's always as like their biography. You know what I mean? It's like a documentary on their life, and then you get a lot of other artists that I'm not here to speak on if they're from that or not, but either way, they're just glorifying it, and they're you know,
what's the gauge? What's the difference? Like, I'm talking about this. This is my story. Cool. And then I'm this other artist. I'm glorifying it. What is that difference? Right?
I think when you try to use it as a ladder, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think Game was out here like, oh, let me bang blood to get on. He was, you know, it was like, this is my story. This is the documentary.
Yeah.
Fuck with it or don't.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it was like, it wasn't like advertising. It wasn't exploitative. It was just, here's me.
Right.
What you think, you know?
Right.
And then when you now kind of use it, it's all about intention, I guess, you know?
Yeah.
Because when you could say the same thing, but when you're saying that as a way to get on because you know it's going to react because you know these white kids look at the hood as a safari, you know, and something that they want to drive through and see, but they don't want to actually like be out with the lions, you know, and they don't even know what it's like to be out with the lions. If they were caught in the middle of the desert by themselves with the lions, they'd be shitting themselves. But when they in the comfort of their homes watching it from afar, it's exciting. Right. You know what I mean? Like, and I think when you know that and you appeal to that, even if everything you're saying is true, if those are your intentions, I think that's detrimental to a genre. I think that's detrimental to a culture. You know what I mean? I think that's like extremely detrimental on every front.
Right. When you're banging because of streams.
Talk about it, Keyel. Talk about it, Keyel.
You know. Yeah. But yeah, no, I totally feel that. I like how you said the safari thing. That's very interesting that it's like from afar and it makes it almost like a monster. It kind of goes back to like this Get Out kind of vibe, where you're like taking the best relative pieces, the energy, the aggression, the whatever you like from it, and you're just taking that piece. Right. It's like it's the saying, the whole like everybody wants to be black but doesn't want to be black. It's the price. You know what I'm saying? The price you pay to be on that side of it or whatever. What's the price to be you?
And it's crazy, right? Because even just the thought, that statement is so wild to me. That's such a wild statement to me, you know?
That's why it's wild.
Yeah, and it's just crazy because it's like, how little understanding and comprehension do you have to even have to think something like that? You know what I mean? That just shows how small your understanding is of Black Americans. You know what I mean? Like, to be able to even think that way, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, it's just wild, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So that shift, I'm looking for that shift. I'm looking for that change in everything, universally, in the culture, in the music. And I guess, no longer can it be glorifying, but to be informing, to teach, to give us an opportunity to be, to grow, to change. So it's not like that. So when you get to the Staples Center for somebody's passing, that it's good money. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not an issue. It's not mayhem.
Well, and even it's crazy, right? Because it's like, I've said this before, that it's like, I feel like a lot of things, not even just in music, but a lot of things, we're jumping from a 100-story building, plummeting to our death. But because we've only fallen 90 stories, we go, look, we're flying. You know what I mean? We're flying. We're invincible.
Oh, that's
but we still got 10 floors to go, and it's certain death. There's no way around it. But because we've been falling for 90 floors and we think we're flying, that's like a Tekashi situation, right?
Yeah.
I think everybody with a little bit of sense knew how that story played out. Yeah. And honestly, I don't wish jail on nobody, but thank God he went to jail, because the other option was much, much worse. Right. You know what I mean?
And I was just mind blown that the other situation didn't happen to him before he went to jail, because I was like, yo, like, you are running your mouth with people that don't tolerate that
he was
shit.
doing the most, the absolute most, like, to piss off people. It was crazy.
And it's weird, though, because it was, like, I saw that saying that Instagram is a lot quieter without that fool. And it's true, because we were laughing at that fool's nonsense and fuckery. But at the same time, we also knew that the reality of that guy's situation is those two. Either someone's going to get him, go ahead and clown. Someone's going to really put a bullet in you. Or you're going to end up in jail. And we're seeing it happen right now,
Have we seen anybody survive something like that, to be that big of a impact, whatever way it was, and still be alive and not get shot, not get hurt?
Gucci Mane was in jail for a long-ass time for some real shit. Yeah, and he came out and gentrified his whole soul and came out. Look, now you see gentrified his whole soul, dude.
He went vegan in the mind.
100%. And you saw that. And,
shout out Gucci, though. I'm not trying to have Gucci on our head top.
No. We're not. That's not a diss. You saw. Anybody that thinks that's a diss, it's not. He literally did his time, came out, and changed his whole life, changed his mindset, and you saw it. This fool got married and shit. Like,
but he did his time. You know what I mean? Like, he still did his time. Like that. That's what I'm saying. Like, he still hit the ground eventually. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I just think too often we think we're flying when we're plummeting to our death.
Sure.
And even it's crazy that people are now imitating Tekashi when they saw him splatter on the pavement. Right, you feel me?
That's the influence that what you use your power with. Like Tekashi, despite whatever you want to say about his music and what he did on Instagram, he was influencing, and people did fuck with his music, and he had slappers. And at the end of the day, there was kids, while we were just looking, laughing, and knowing the difference of like, yo, this is where he's clowning and this is where he's taking it too far. There was kids out there that was like, I want to do that. Yeah. Oh, you know what I mean?
That's real.
Because me personally, I actually like Tekashi's music.
Nah, I feel
right? I actually
Yeah.
liked his
Slappers,
music.
man.
I remember being on tour. We were on tour, and all the little kids, me and Wes were out with a bunch of like 20-year-olds. You know what I mean? So they fucked with Tekashi from all the internet shit, right? Which like we're a little older. That shit didn't really move the needle for us. They loved that shit off that. His album came out, we were bumping it, and all of them were like, yeah, I'm not really fucking with it. They're like, we like him, but we not fucking with that. Yeah. And then me and Wes didn't really like him, but then we heard the music, we're like, yo,
that's what we
this shit slaps. You know what I mean? This shit is raw. This is this reminds me of DMX or some shit. You know what I mean?
As somebody who grew up listening to DMX and the game and all that, and then listening to metal and hardcore, he blended those things, and I was like, oh shit, he did it like a slapper. Yeah. All that gun talk and all that shit, like, I'm going to have to step out on that for a minute. I know you're just, whatever, that's some fuckery shit. But if you're really about that life, you're really about that life, which I don't doubt that the people around him were about that life. I don't know necessarily him.
Him specifically,
yeah. Right. But, you know, they took that little guy in, and they were profiting off of his own rise. And
which I'm with.
Mixed up.
I'm low key, I'm just going to keep it a buck. I'm with, for real, I'm with the gangbangers. Extorting the like it's.
I was about to say that's a real thing though. That's
a cold world.
Common. That's not just like that's not a 6ix9ine situation.
1,000
in a cold world. It makes sense.
I just feel like for so long, too many people have been able to ride off the name of the hood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sure. So I wasn't mad at the hood getting cashed out on that situation.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, but I don't know. For me, it was like that Breakfast Club interview, the one where he was like, I let my nuts hang, blah, 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 blah. It was like...
It's a great interview, though.
Nah, but when I saw that, I remember watching that, and it was like, damn, this makes me not like this kid.
Really?
You know what I mean? And I liked the music, and I saw that, it was like, this makes me not like this kid, and I'm afraid that this is going to end one of two ways. And Charlamagne said it. Charlamagne was like, yo, we've seen this before.
Yeah. He thought he was untouchable.
We've seen this before, bro. You know?
He thought he was untouchable.
And so... Again, for me, it's like, I think we were talking about this the other day. This is why I think OGs are so important, right? And I think the reason hip hop has outlasted a genre like rock or this or that, whereas rock, the OGs didn't fuck with the new kids, right? The old heads wanted nothing to do with the new kids, wanted nothing to do with the sound changing, with the punk, with the distorted guitars. They didn't want nothing to do with that, right?
So it dies.
And then so it eventually kind of like puts these two groups at odds with each other and divides the genre. Damn. With hip hop has always been so it's always taken on like stewardship of the new generation, mentorship of it. You know, the OGs have always, even if they're not necessarily on the top of the charts or as active as an artist, they're active in the culture and in the ecosystem. You know, and 100%. You always see them, whether it's on camera or off camera, taking these people under. I didn't even know Jay Prince was involved in YBN or the Almighty J Kid until he got. You know what I mean? I had no idea, and I think that's what's allowed hip hop to keep growing and keep changing, you know, because it's been this unified genre. And I think OGs are so important because when you have someone like a Tekashi, someone could step in and say, listen, bro, this ain't it. This ain't it. You know?
You also gotta take into consideration of the OGs and the rappers that understand that there's like Instagram drama, which is funny, but then there's the real drama that you don't want to be a part of. And that's where some people in hip hop are still ignorant to like, yo, but we get it popping with that. Like, you want drama, I'm gonna get my crew, we'll get it popping. But then you got some of the OGs that are like, yo, this is not worth it. This aggression, this talking shit back and forth on the phone, like, it's not worth it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you got to find the right OGs too, because there is some OGs that still condone that shit too.
But this is the thing. Look at 50 was Tekashi's kind of mentor, right? And he is. He was. You know, and it's like, honestly, I think we got to kind of hold 50 responsible a little bit, right? Not because listen, 50 came up that same way, beefing with everyone, really real, about that. It was really about that life, you know. Look at 50 today. 50 today in meetings with a bunch of white people talking about TV shows, beefing with what's her name from Love and Hip Hop on Instagram. He's not in the streets like that. You know what I mean? His internet beefs, he knows who he should and should not pick a fight with. He's arguing over $50,000 with some IG model. You know what I mean? And it's funny and it's entertaining, but there's no real repercussions from that. And I think 50's smart enough to know exactly what he's doing.
For sure.
You know, and the fact that he didn't step in and tell Tekashi, like, look, I see what you're doing. I see this is your whole marketing plan. Let's pick some different people to beef with, you know? Let's go at Ariana Grande. You know what I mean? Or something.
Maybe he did say it, but Tekashi's so wrapped up on his own ego trip and power. Because you saw how he was talking.
I let my nuts hang.
He was the king of that era of talking reckless to everyone. So maybe there was a couple OGs that were like, you need to chill out, like Charlemagne and everybody, but not going to listen. How old is the dude right now? Like 22 or 23? Like, I remember at 19 that was my worst year in life. Like, you could not tell me not to do anything reckless. Like, and multiple uncles and my pops and everybody would tell me, like, dude, you need to chill. I went to jail at 19. I didn't go for too long, but that's when I was, like, wilding out, you know?
I've heard that story.
Yeah, I was wilding out.
I've heard that you went in and you said, hey, listen, Judge, I ain't got no money, so put me down. What I got to do?
I mean,
put me down. I'm ready for this life.
If that's the rumor, you went in. If that's the rumor, I'm running with it.
I've heard you went in and you said, "Wait, how much?" And they told you 10 racks. You said, "Oh, no, put me in. Nope. I'm not spending my Modelo money.
You know, I'm nowhere near. If I was 19, I didn't even have no Modelo money. I was working at Target. When I say working, I barely went to work. But,
how cheap could you be that you would rather take jail than pay the fine?
I mean, it goes back to that conversation. There's a lot of people that would rather go to jail than pay money to the courts. But either way, you're still paying money and all that shit happens. So
you're going to get it off.
Somewhere, but I went for 2 weeks. It wasn't anything crazy. It was more hilarious. There was a talent show in jail that I saw.
A talent show?
Yeah. Asians, blacks, and Mexicans all singing, rapping, doing what you got to do. And it was pretty funny, man, because you also got to realize, too, that I was 19 and I had a very ignorant mindset of everybody, of the whole world. Yeah. And when I saw these, like, you know, tweaker ass fools of every ethnicity in there rapping and singing, I was just laughing my ass off in the corner. Like, I can't believe I'm in here. But I had to take that wisdom, you know, I had to be like, yo, this is hilarious. You're an idiot for being in here, but, you know, this is fucking comedy.
Was there anything you pulled from that? I feel like that's like an
an
enlightening moment.
I took a lot, man.
That's a lot.
19 days felt like 19 months, man. I was in there every day. Like, they called me the hard timer because I just slept. I tried to sleep I tried to sleep it off. Like, I was like not involved in any type of talking or anything. I don't want to talk to anybody. And I was like, yo, if I just sleep each day, it's another day down, you know? It's another day down. And yeah, man.
Much easier than paying the $500 ticket, you know?
No, it was more. Well, my thing is, I got. If you want to get specific, it was off of a warrant, off of some typical Orange County stupid suburban bullshit. I did a beer run at 19.
I did
a beer run, multiple beer runs, and I got caught. And I did 2 days at the local jail in La Habra. Whack as fuck.
And they were like, hey, they were like, we need you to run us that 20 for the 30 rack, chief. And you were like, nah, put me down.
I wish.
Put me down.
Hey, you making fun of me, dog? That was a real moment. See, this is why motherfuckers retaliate against the OGs. I'm just kidding. I'm fucking with you. No, but yeah, it was stupid. It was stupid. I did 19 days, and the main thing was, there's 2 low points, and again, I wasn't even in the, like, hardest jail. Like, I didn't see anything tough or anything. I just met a lot of older people, like 40s and up, like, that were, I saw them and I was like, oh, man, you are the scum of the earth type of shit. You know, like, you like being in here. You know, they had that mentality of they were like, I've heard it work verbatim, like, yo, as soon as I get out, it's vacation for 2 weeks, and I'm going to come right back because I'm going to steal something, I'm going to use again, do whatever. I saw people using in jail, you know, like some people don't want to learn. But it was one of those things where the main lesson that I took was the lowest point in life is in a coffin or here. And that's just what it is. As simple as that, you know?
Yeah. Do you feel like that's where 6 is at right now? in his mind.
Oh, he's deep in shit though, man, because he's not getting 19 days. He's getting at the least, you know,
some crazy time.
What, 5 years?
Is he cooperating? Or he's
he's singing like a bird.
Yeah, he's most likely he is. And I mean, shit, I guess in 2019, you can't really blame him for that. If you're looking
what you talking about? I spent 2 hours in the back of a cop car. I didn't even go to jail. I was telling him everything. I was like, my brother stole a Snickers from 7-Eleven when we were 12. My neighbor doesn't pay her electricity bill. She's just been getting free electricity. I was ratting on everybody.
Yeah.
I'm not meant for jail. You see how soft my skin is?
Yeah,
I'm not meant for jail.
I'm shining. I'm
shining. You'll be 6'9" for another reason out there. You know? Straight up. little suburb Twinkie ass fool.
Hey, so what was your song for the jail talent show?
Oh, dude, into your honor, I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. No, I didn't.
That was fire. That was
again.
That was actually fire.
I literally sat on my bunk and laughed at everybody. There was I don't know what type of Asian he was, but he sang a Kelly Clarkson song. Full dead ass. I kid you not. I don't know what song it was, but he was up
I'll tell you right now, he was Filipino. we ain't even know. If he was an Asian in a talent show, he was Filipino. I'm gonna keep it buck with you.
He was just up. He was up at the top of the chamber that we were in. The chamber. And I remember like looking up because all I heard was like, you know, like you're beautiful, like up at top, and up at the top, and I looked, and it was like an Asian fool, and I just like went back to the bunk, and I was like, just in there, just laughing, dude. I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, this is real. Like, this is a real moment I have to participate in. Like, you know, there's these fools out here just singing wild shit. Rap. There was a couple fools in there that had, I guess, some bars for jail.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like you're talented. Like you working on this all day. This is your craft.
The struggle was shining.
You're gonna be nice.
The struggle was shining there. There was a couple of them, but overall, it was like laughable. As fucked up as that is.
I'm literally picturing like Hell in the Cell. Like y'all remember the old wrestling cages?
No, it was,
this is what I'm picturing. Like somebody's getting thrown through the cage.
It was like that, but with a lot like it looked a lot less cheaper. Like there was like cheap paint, and it was like, but it was a big room, you know, like. And as soon as they brought me in, I had to go with the Mexicans, you know, and they're like, claim your South Side, and I went in there and I was like, I don't claim nothing. I just want to go to my bed and go to sleep, you know. And that's what it was.
Other? They call you other, right? That's
no, like, I had to hang out with all the Mexicans, you know? That's just what it is. And it was funny because I remember going to the showers and I showered with my boxers because that's when I was ultra, like, no homo. I was like, yo, like, fuck all this shit, you know? Everybody, like, I didn't want to see none of that shit. I only showered once, I think, in those 2 weeks. 100%.
That's crazy.
But then I remember going to the bathroom and there was a white dude. And like I was taking a piss, and he's like, "Hey man, are you a Wood or are you a Southside?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I don't know if you're like white or Mexican." And I was like, "I'll take that as a compliment. I look like a hybrid, you know." But no, I was like, "I'm straight Mexican, dog. There's nothing. I hang out with those fools in the corner." And he's like, "All right, for sure." And I just went to sleep. That's just what I was doing the whole time. I did play Uno one time, and I fucked everybody up in there. I did fuck up everybody at Uno. So, yo, shout out to that.
So you wasn't trying to holler at nobody in the jail cell?
This fool.
Find you a protector?
That's crazy.
I don't need no protection. I'm my own protector.
Find you like Big Bubba, you know?
Yo, we gotta run a game of Uno.
But
I'll tell you right now, I'm singing. I'm getting in my R&B bag. I'm singing "Burn" by Usher or some old R. Kelly. Fuck R. Kelly though, but I'm singing the most sensual, sexual song I can, and I'm finding the biggest motherfucker in there, and I'm just looking him dead in the eyes the whole time. If I'm gonna be a bitch, I'm gonna only be one person's bitch. You feel me?
You're wilding out in jail, not even prison. He's already. Bro,
2 days.
He's already breaking.
The work camps 2 days.
He's already breaking.
I told you I'm not meant for jail.
Yeah.
I'm not meant for
100%.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
If they thought I was a hybrid, they're only gonna trip out on you, dog. They would look at you. And be
Oh,
like,
I
what
would
are
get
you?
beat up by everyone. I go with the
Yeah.
Asians, they beat me up. I go with the whites, they beat me up. I guarantee you, I'd end up with the Mexicans.
Probably. You probably would. But oh yeah, jail was a burn, man. Fuck that place. Fuck Theo Lacey. Fuck the farm.
Yeah,
what it is.
man.
Sounds wild.
Shout out to everybody in jail. Everybody who's down right now. I hope you keeping
If
your head
there's
up.
Dash
I
Radio.
think about that too. I think about that shit.
That's what it is.
I think about those moments though where like I'll forget about it because it was so long ago that like I'll be driving in traffic pissed at the world. I'll be like, yo, why the fuck do I got to do this shit? And I think about being at Theo Lacey or the farm and being like, damn, there's probably still fools in there that I met that are still in there right now, you know?
Yeah, you're on
Fuck
vacation.
And that's called framing.
Yeah.
Like literally placing yourself in your life, seeing where you at, and like,
Yeah.
I'm good
Yeah.
money.
Talk
Like,
about it.
Whatever's happening, I'm good money.
sure.
Oh, I can walk, I can breathe, I'm good money.
I just picture Seez walking into the chamber to this, just right here, you know? Seez, our resident gangbanger.
Food's gone wild.
Seez, our resident foo here on the Free Game Podcast.
I'll be that. I'll play the part. I'll play the part.
Giving you pointers on how to win Uno when you down.
Yeah, for sure.
Keep
Don't
an
do
extra
beer
card in
runs.
your pocket
There you go.
for a beer run. That's crazy.
For beer runs.
Nah, I mean,
That's how I
right.
know I'm more suburb than I am hood. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Nah, because in my mind, if you're white in Newport, you like getting a slap on the wrist for a beer
yeah,
run.
no, yeah.
Nah, he
Even
did the
LA
beer
County.
run.
If I was LA County, they were telling me like if I was LA County, I would have been in and out within 48 hours. But Orange County's so like we need our money, and if you
And
don't got
because
our money,
you're the brown guy in
Yeah,
Orange
yeah.
County, that's the thing.
and it gives you more space to occupy.
You on the lighter side of the spectrum for LA, so
Yeah.
they put you right out.
Yeah.
Orange County,
Yeah,
Degrees.
you going
yeah,
down.
I'm-
Nah, it's fucked up, but it's facts. It's
yeah.
facts.
No,
Like,
yeah. But it's still on some Malibu's Most Wanted type shit. Like it's not
100%.
anything crazy like that.
100%.
Yeah.
Yo, I actually just watched Malibu's Most Wanted
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
It's one of the greatest.
Really? I need to go
movies.
back.
Still
and
It's
watch
like
holds
a,
up.
it's like
I need
a-
to watch it.
I
Yeah.
don't even
Still
know what
holds
to
up.
call it. It's like it definitely
Still
holds up.
holds
It's
up.
almost like this is gonna sound weird and off. It's like a weird verted blackface kind of conceptual like layer on layer. No, it's crazy. It's
Oh,
actually
man.
crazy, but it's funny how they did it. They killed it. Like I don't even know
I
how
need to go
explain-
back and watch
Yeah,
it.
No, it's
Because I
bangers.
remember it being funny, but also like I got over that
It's
shit
kind
quick.
no,
Yeah.
it is that vibe for sure.
Yeah.
But if you tap into like what they're really trying to show,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, oh,
It's different now. Now that we're older and shit. And now that because we were like 13, like
Yeah,
12,
we were
13
young.
when it came
Was
out.
that 7th grade
So
or
it was
some
like
shit?
funny, but now you look back, you're like, oh fuck, this fool's the son of a governor,
Right,
a fool running
right,
for governor,
right.
and he's just like,
As the
like a
token, as
deep-
the token white man in the room, I just feel personally attacked with that movie. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Just misrepresenting our people.
fucking smiles, bro.
Like,
No,
how do we identify like your like race wise? Like, how do you say what you are? Like, how can you? Is it just literally
Straight
is it
Mexican.
cultural?
That's
is
just
it,
what I
is
say.
it DNA? Is it so Mexican?
Straight Mexican.
but we're
I
from
mean,
here too. We were born and raised in Southern California,
Yeah.
so we have like there's definitely a locality to like where you are
that's
from. You
good
know,
point.
like
Yeah.
to a certain extent, if like you have the the fortunate opportunity to grow up in like like one place, you know, you're not moving around and shit. But like, I definitely identify as like Mexican, Puerto Rican and stuff. But like, I'm from Southern California, or Southern
Right.
California, you know, like specifically to La Habra, Whittier. So all that is different from like a Mexican, Puerto Rican in Texas, or like, you know. So I feel like
Yeah.
there's a certain extent of two
I
background.
identify as a fool. It could be a Mexican fool, a Persian fool,
You're a
Italian
Southern
fool. I can play them all. So hit me up if
You like
need.
DMX and hardcore. You're Southern
Yeah.
California.
Yeah, that's
bro.
as Southern California as you get.
100%. 100%.
Talk about it, CZ. Our resident, our
Oh, there we go. There we
resident.
go.
fool.
Yeah. I didn't want to say it, but I was like,
Bottoms up when I first met you.
it's a classic.
No, this record
Going
is
back to
wild.
it though. Going back to it because it was this song that I thought was gonna be what Lil Nas X was doing with his song, but he Boy West Coast slept way too hard, and didn't give the people what they want quick enough. So Lil Nas X gave us the next viral hit.
No, I'm glad because from what I've heard in the Instagram comments, Boy West Coast is kind of a bitch.
Yeah,
so,
no, exactly. And he went and deleted.
No shade, no disrespect to Boy.
No, that's a BBW.
You a bitch, bro. No disrespect.
You a little bitch. No. Hey, I don't want no beef with the Santa Barbara Cholos.
Nah. Hey, we love Santa Barbara.
Yeah, I went to the zoo there one time. It was a pretty sad zoo, but it was. I mean, the food out there is bomb. But
but going back to your thing, I think part of the identifying, you get to choose what you identify as, right? Okay. And I think one of the things with Boy West Coast is like the Mexicans claimed him and loved him and wanted him to be their champion. And honestly, I feel like he didn't identify with it. He wasn't rocking with it.
He's ashamed of the bootleg banger, dude. Don't be ashamed of the bootleg bangers out here, dude.
That's what it was the joke part, right? Like the fact he felt like he was being made fun of.
Yeah.
So he was like,
yeah, but it's like it's not even just the joke, right? I think as artists sometimes you get tied to like how you want to come out, what you identify with, how culturally you want to be perceived, how musically you want to, and I think he whatever identity we placed on him, he wasn't with it.
No.
You know what I mean?
When you try hard, that's when you die hard.
Right. Lil Nas X, he's taking it all the way to the basket,
and mind
bro.
you, that
watching him do his shit is amazing because that fool is just taking every day and making it like a win, dude.
And I don't think that fool wanted to be identified as the country dude, right? But the door opened and he's like, yo, fuck it.
I'm with Thug, like, doing crazy shit.
He's running with the identity we placed on him, And I think it's interesting sometimes how we identify one way and the world maybe sees us a different way.
And what's even crazier is that specific song has so many layers to what is going on. We'll start with, I'm still mind blown that he sampled the 9 Inch Nails like random track.
Right.
1, that shit blew my mind. 2, the fact that he made it to the country billboards, got taken off because they said that it wasn't country, but we all know what it really was. Yeah. They took him off because of the color of his skin, and then you had Billy Ray Cyrus come up, jump in and be like, nope, this is country.
That's a win every day.
Boom. And that already says, like, a lot about that song. Like,
and then it went number 1 on the regular Billboard, not even on the country
Drake's
Billboard.
Record.
On the regular, man, shout out Lil Nas X one time.
I mean, even there you go. Even if it is one time made an impact right there.
Oh, yeah.
It said a lot about the world of country, which is clownery. And it's just like, yo, for you guys to take this banger down, for you to take that banger down and not embrace it.
And I was listening to the Joe Budden podcast earlier. Shout out Joe Budden podcast.
Yeah.
We just basically the West Coast Joe Budden podcast. Yeah. But fuck them. I want all the smoke. I want all the smoke. I want all the smoke. I think I could take Rory. That's the white guy. I think I could take Rory.
You guys are literally the same.
Same vibes.
Yo, if we fought the Joe Budden podcast, that would be
Rory and Ben.
Crazy. I get Rory for sure.
Yeah.
Seez, who you got?
I don't want no smoke with Joe. That's all I know.
Somebody gotta fight Joe. I ain't fighting Joe.
Yeah, someone gotta fight Joe. I've seen Joe chase down 2 white 13-year-old kids on YouTube. I don't want no smoke with Joe.
My thing is, I relate to Joe, so I don't want no smoke with them. Like
Ezra got Joe.
I don't even think it'd be fighting. I think it'd be something random, like a food eating contest or like a laser tag. For sure. Like
that'd be fire.
Actually,
a laser tag podcast duel. Go paintballing.
Exactly.
Actually do that.
I do that.
I don't know if Joe drinks, but like we could do like who could take the most shots of Henny or something. I don't know.
Wow. We got Mexicans on the squad, so we won.
So
it's a wrap. It's an easy call.
Wow, let's go.
Ochoa's definitely fighting Parks. You're definitely fighting Parks, and you two just gonna nerd out over engineering shit.
Fight.
Yeah, you're gonna become homies. The rest of us gonna be squabbling. You two just over in the corner, fucking talking about tape machines and shit.
I'm gonna hit you, and then you move your face like right. Okay.
All that being said, though, all that being said, though, I don't want no beef with Joe Budden because I feel like I'm already pre-washed. My brain is already washed. He's a washed-ass fool. And I mean that in the most respectful.
I don't want no smoke, but Joe Budden is washed. You heard it here first on the freaking podcast.
I mean that in the most realistic, respectful way because we've had enough. And I feel Joe Budden. He's had enough. I feel like sometimes I've had
Joe
enough
Budden
of
is
this
coming
shit.
for you. Let me
That's
tell
fine.
you, Joe Budden is picking you. When we squabble, he wants you one on one.
All right. No cameras, though. But at the end of the day,
You gotta go around the corner.
I'm with it. There's just no cameras.
Friendly fade.
But I already, exactly. And I'm with it.
He said Joe Budden's tired. I feel that vibe. Joe Budden does come off like
Y'all gotta
he's
fight him.
tired.
Y'all-
Hey,
Yeah,
Joe
that-
Budden looks healthy and
No,
wealthy and
no.
in love. His skin popping.
No, for sure.
Like, you
Yeah.
know, that's my guy. His
No,
smile
for
just
sure.
looking different
But
nowadays.
I meant like washed into like the future. It's just like one of those things where it's like, all right, I guess it is what it is. Like we just got to keep moving.
Oh, shit.
I feel the same way.
Have you ever heard the phrase cut your losses?
I mean, I don't know what you're trying to prove with that, but all right, we'll go with it.
Oh, shit. I forget what we were even talking about. I was
Yeah.
bringing up their podcast.
Oh, Lil Nas X.
Oh no, the Lil Nas X.
Yeah,
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 I was
Nas
hearing
X.
them talk about it, and they had a great point where they were like, yo, think about when Miley came into hip hop, and hip hop welcomed her with open arms, and it was very clear that she was just there to make some money and get out,
sure.
and hip hop welcomed her. You know what I mean? And then that's how country's gonna do Lil Nas X. It's like hip hop. I've yet to see someone who hip hop doesn't let in. You know what I mean?
Right.
Come on.
Have we
Tap
seen
in,
it?
though,
Have we
man.
seen
That's-
anyone?
That's low-key universal concept, though, honestly. Within hip-hop, as a cultural being, like, you always get invited in. Like, no matter what. Whether we mess with you or not, kind of, we irritated, frustrated, 6ix9ine, whoever. We
That's
let
true.
you in.
Everyone's
The
let in,
the
yeah.
space, the degrees. Like, we're
Whatever the sound, people change up the sound. It's like,
we cool with it.
even
It's
if
still
there's a
hip-hop.
little tension in the beginning, it's always still embraced,
Yep.
you know? And again,
Yeah.
I think that's one of the attributes that has kept hip hop
Exactly.
around. That's,
Yeah.
you know what I
Around.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's this openness. It's this, you know, now like, we're going to let the people decide. Come in, you know?
Yeah.
If your shit's trash, we're going to call it trash and get it out of
Right,
here.
right.
But we're not gonna put up these walls. You know what I
Keep you
mean?
from being
Yeah,
able to
and
exist here. Yeah.
and it's a beautiful thing. Honestly, it's a beautiful thing. Even someone like Miley, I feel like we all know what that was, and I feel like if tomorrow she wanted to come back and really, you know, get with the right people and do a hip hop album, people would let her.
100%.
You know what I mean? It really is just this like this open, and I think also it has to do with it being one of the youngest genres, right? Because you know, some old head's gonna kill me for this, but kind of the peak of hip hop was all during the internet era, right? You know, when it really started to gain traction, where there were no gatekeepers. You know, it's not like this system that's been set up for hundreds of years that always had a gatekeeper, always had this system to filter through. It's always been open. You know what I mean? Since it started. So it kind of just carries that mentality. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, we've been with the internet. You know?
Yeah,
Anyone upload their song. Like,
No, yeah.
This is how we move.
yeah, completely.
We don't want no more Miley Cyrus hip hop tracks, so that's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. Billy Ray could stay. Billy Ray on that shit.
Billy Ray is good. Billy
Yeah,
Ray
yeah.
got his car, but Miley's got to
Miley.
get
That
out of
shit
here.
was just, I don't know what that was. That was one of my most silent partakes in any like opinion of her having songs. I remember that MTV performance of her just like, you know, looking
Oh
like a
my
unbaked
God.
unbaked chicken out
That's
there
what
dancing.
happened.
Like I was just out there like, what is this?
Trash.
Trash.
I think that might have been the
Trash.
last time I paid attention to MTV. Like I walked away from MTV. Anything
When they
to
let
say
that
from
slide, when they
Yeah.
let Miley slide.
Damn. That was like a
Damn.
weird
I
moment.
actually haven't watched MTV in a long
Yeah,
time.
I haven't. I don't know what's up on there. Is it
There's
is it
nothing
music?
on
I heard
there.
they're making a music
I don't
comeback.
know.
Really?
No? Videos.
I mean, let's be real.
Anybody
How
watch
many of us in this room have a TV or have like TV channels?
I
Channels.
do not watch it at all.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
have.
on YouTube,
I don't have
baby.
TV. Yeah, I
YouTube
don't have
University.
TV channels. Yeah,
Mhm.
YouTube, Netflix.
Yeah. I don't
Hulu.
even. Yeah, I need to.
That's already too much. It's already
Yeah.
too much.
Right.
there.
Those two things.
Yeah.
Boom.
I don't even watch
And let's
those
keep it a
anymore.
buck. I just stream all the games on Reddit, anyways.
Yeah.
So
Shout out to Reddit.
shout out Reddit.
YouTube Live. You
It's-
watch pretty
it's
much
great.
It's
everything.
crazy because Reddit's like the Vegas of like
internet,
yeah,
just
you know what I'm
anything
saying?
goes.
Anything goes.
Anything goes.
Yeah.
You could get the handy in the back room if you know
You
where to
really
search.
can. It's still.
Hey, have you ever seen that
still
Dave
there.
Chappelle episode where like the internet's like a real place? He literally takes you around. It's a Dave Chappelle. Like,
Oh,
episode.
yeah.
I haven't
It's
seen that.
That's a
crazy.
classic.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen for sure.
But
I think that's what VR is.
I
doing
hear
to us.
of all the
I
people
agree.
that stay up on Reddit are definitely people that I'm like, oh, you're a digital cowboy in this shit. You know what I'm saying? Reddit has
Reddit's crazy.
it has a little dark world if you want to dive into
Yeah,
it.
no, I love it. Ocho always says, he goes, "Yo, the internet remains undefeated," and I love because it's like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the like politically correct police are doing. It doesn't matter what the politicians, what the laws, what the internet.
So I'm
wins.
saying I seen some memes off of Reddit that I'm like, whoa, like that shit is. It makes sense why it doesn't make it onto
Other shit.
Instagram and other shit. You know, like
Dog, we've been trolling the president of the United States nonstop
non-stop.
Crazy.
on the internet. You know, like that shit does not fly in other countries.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
exactly.
like
I was just talking
Pisses
to
him off.
I
Yeah,
leave,
it affects him.
I leave the
Wow.
Thailand in 2.5 weeks, and I met a Lyft driver when I went to a show at the Hollywood Forever, like maybe 2 weeks ago, and he was telling me how he's retiring in Thailand, but he was talking about how in Thailand, if you say anything, even if we're having a conversation right now and I'm speaking bad about the government or the king out there, it's a wrap for you.
Whoa.
Like, you're dusted. And it's here we get to tweet. I could tweet at Donald Trump right now
Fuck
and be like,
Donald
yo, your
Trump.
policies are as fucked up as your motherfucking face and your hair. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I wanted to. And nothing's really going to happen. I mean,
He might add you to a list, bro.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
nah,
keep
yeah,
it
they
tab.
got the
Yeah.
list. They got
Delete
the
if,
list.
if Donald Trump hears me saying and it cuts through his ego, then I'm
does.
worth some shit, dog. You
yeah,
know?
that's true.
Because that fool doesn't care about anybody but himself. And it's just like, it's just wild that, you know, he is one of like the most smack talking trolls. Like he's
a
6'9",
troll.
Final
He's an
form.
internet
He's
troll.
a troll. He's 6'9".
He's
6'9",
been trolling on
5'9",
Twitter.
But-
That's the craziest
Exactly.
thing.
Post memes and shit.
And that energy that he puts in, he's getting it out from the people. And it's like, yo, like you see, never in the history of any president have you seen just like the most disrespectful form of art on the president, dog. Like, it's wild. It blows my mind. Like, we literally get to hang that fool on the internet, like burn him and do all that shit, and nothing's gonna happen to him.
We get it. If the FBI is listening to this podcast, the three of us are Republicans. You're alone.
Yeah, I'm going into this shit authentically. I'm going into this shit authentically, and it's just like, yo, he is the face of all the troll shit that's happening in America right now. That's just what I'm saying.
Face of hate.
You know,
for sure.
it's just he makes me laugh. He makes life seem like it really is a fucking stupid ass WWF cameo type shit, but it is what it is. He does say some things. I'll say the greatest diss of all time comes from President Trump to Jeb Bush, low energy. Like, that is literally the best diss of all
You're
time.
low
like,
energy.
You're
Yeah,
low
nah,
energy, dog. And that comes from the
Hey,
president
you're
of the
low
United
energy.
States. Straight up. Like, that is the greatest diss of all time.
Oh,
He shouldn't have won. Dude, he shouldn't have done anything.
Now,
You're
we're not going
low
to dive
energy.
into that,
Yeah,
but
we're
the
done,
fact
we're
that we
done.
get to talk shit on that fool and
damn
nothing's
it.
going to happen is amazing.
We
man.
hope nothing
hope,
happens.
yeah,
we
we
hope
hope.
nothing happens.
Nah, nothing's going to
We
happen.
hope nothing happens.
Nothing's going to happen. Shout out Joe Budden.
Fire.
Joe Budden gonna kill your ass, dog.
Hey, I got nothing but love for Joe. I got nothing but love. I stopped watching.
I can't wait.
I stopped watching
Ooh,
Everyday
Seez, you better
Struggle.
stay out of New York.
I stopped watching. I'm gonna go actually in August. I'm gonna stop. I stopped watching Everyday Struggle because of Joe left. Like, Wayno's cool. Academics is like, what is that guy? and then Nadeska, she just like sits there, you know, like, it is
Very
what it
neutral.
is. Shout out to her.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. She's like bump on a log.
Yeah,
you know, just like
she's just a
very.
little cutie that, like, you know, holds it down, you know, in the balance of both sides. But I don't want no smoke with Joe. I got respect for him. But if I had to choose to have a mentality of the wash Joe Budden or wash Donald Trump, I'm going Joe Budden all day.
Wow, you just compared Joe Budden
Watch
to
him.
Donald Trump. That's
They both
crazy.
have influence.
They for sure coming to get you, CZ.
That's fine.
As a unit.
Oh,
Hey,
shit.
one thing that you
All
can-
right,
one-
on to the
one-
next
hold on,
topic
one-
before
one
we
more gonna
get
end with
beat
that,
up.
though. With all that being said, they could come for me, but they know I don't got no low energy. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Let's go.
Oh my God, we're for sure getting beat up for this podcast.
That's fine.
Episode 1, we're
We
already
need some
making
action 'cause for the
enemies.
first 30 minutes, it was low energy. Now I'm bringing it up. You feel me?
dragon energy.
So what's happening at Coachella this weekend?
Dude, honestly, I personally feel like I'm so removed from like all that shit. Like I even camping in
From what
Coachella
shit?
sounds like
Oh, we're actually talking about Coachella.
I know people that are still going, like my little homies, and then people my age, and I'm just like, yo, like I don't even know if I could even enjoy the camping and the whole, like seeing the artists is always lit. Coachella does a great job at displaying who you. It's tight that you get to see a plethora of like 80 artists that you love right now. Playing one
I don't even
weekend.
know who's playing Coachella. Do you know who's playing Coachella?
No,
Do you know who's playing Coachella?
I know Kanye. Kanye's gonna be playing.
The Sunday service on
Sunday
Easter.
service. Yeah, I'm gonna go to that.
I mean, it has the headlines: Tame Impala, Childish.
Weird flex, but okay. You know?
Yeah. I'm going to that. I know Kanye's
Oh yeah. My boy Ye hit me about that. I think like we're gonna see. Like
Dang, I told him to put you on the group message.
No, it looks tight.
we're gonna see Keyel in the back just babysitting North. That's his job.
There you go.
Snappy.
That's
Oh shit! I don't know one person.
Have y'all been keeping up with Coachella over the last?
Nah.
No.
I mean, I fucked with the lineup. It was a good mix.
When last year?
What was that?
When last year?
Oh no, I'm talking. I mean, I haven't been since 2012 or 2013, but this year's lineup was cool. It was a good mix. That's the thing. It's a
I feel like
diverse
it's become
mix.
a staple at this point too, and kind of just like what's going on, because now Ariana Grande's playing. She just had an album.
Ariana Grande's playing.
She's a headliner.
Oh,
bro.
it's a rap.
It's no
It's a
longer
rap.
About, like,
It's
the
a rap for
legacy shit.
Coachella.
It's like
It's a
and then
rap for
Forever
Coachella.
21,
It's not
fucking
though. It's
places
never
like
gonna stop.
H&M.
It's a rap.
It's only.
It's a rap.
It's only becoming a mainstream
Oh no,
thing.
it's a mainstream thing.
Yeah.
Now.
Nah,
That's what I'm
this-
saying. The coolness.
It's
is
not
rap.
dead.
But it's alive.
It's radio rap now.
Yeah, it's
radio
radio
rap.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
this
but
is
the small names on the bill are still lit, man. There's a lot of dope.
But they're
people
the small
playing.
names.
But it's
They would've
cool.
been a
But
little
you
bit-
get
I
to
don't
still
know.
see. You get to still see them if you're about the music. Now, yeah, it is a thing where it is to go take pictures and Instagram.
this
and
is
be bomb
a
and shit,
SZA and
influencers.
Maroon 5 on the same song. It's
Yeah,
it's a rap. It's
Yeah.
a rap. It's something
What
we
about
watch
Cole
grow.
and Maroon 5? How'd you
something
feel
we
about
watch-
that, though?
Hey, don't disrespect my man
I'm not
Cole.
disrespecting.
All
I
right?
asked the question.
No, he's
The middle
active.
child?
He's active. But Cole's active.
Yeah.
I think like there's like Coachella at this point is kind of just like
It's a
turning
party,
people
man.
out.
It's
like,
Instagram
like
party.
setting people
It's what
up
it is.
to like for big takeovers. Like Ariana Grande has kind of been set. I
Trash.
feel like she's been set up
Trash.
for a takeover. Like
What you mean?
Like kind of like because when I went to Coachella, like a band called the Stone Roses, which I've never heard of, and I don't think anybody's ever heard of. It's just like a '90s ass band. Was the headliner and shit in her slot, and now I feel like
you know,
like she's in that slot, not necessarily because she she's doing a lot in music and she's dope. I love Ariana Grande, but I feel like she's been set up and put in that spot because it was like a good plan for her.
Oh yeah, I'm sure
And,
the
like,
label coordinated
and now
it,
that's
and
Coachella.
they
And,
said, "Hey,
yeah.
we're gonna drop the album at this
Right.
time, and we're gonna tour from here to there, and then we're gonna headline Coachella."
Yeah.
That shit was booked. I know for a
No,
fact
yeah,
with Coachella, they book a whole year out for the headliners.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah,
you
for
know.
I
sure.
mean, that's
for
why the
sure.
business is always going to thrive. They're on their shit. Golden Voice holds it down, and they bring acts that are just worth.
But see, but
staying
you
out
but
there
you
3
get
days.
issues like I think it was last year, maybe 2 years ago, where it was they had booked Cardi B
right
Yeah.
a year out, and then Cardi B
Got
blew
pregnant.
and
Same
blew
thing with
up.
Beyonce, right?
No,
I
and
was
but
thinking,
no,
I was thinking the beat thing. I was thinking
and
the beat
blew
thing.
up. Like Cardi B, let's keep it a buck. Cardi B should have been one of the headliners, if not like a headliner last
This year, maybe.
No, last year.
Last
year.
Oh yeah, sure. I guess yeah.
Last year,
Yeah,
Cardi
she
B
was
should
booming.
have
That was her year
been,
last year.
and she was
That's
not.
true, very
she,
true.
and
She was up there, though.
No, she wasn't. She even talked about how she got so big during the time she committed to Coachella, to going on Coachella, that her production costs went way up, and so she lost money on her Coachella performance.
Wow.
Because she had been guaranteed a small amount of money,
Right.
but then she's now Cardi B. She can't go do her performance from a year ago when she got booked. You know, she has to up it, and so she lost money on that
Yeah.
performance.
Do you pull out or do you demand more? You're now at this level. Yo, what's up?
I think you got to
You
demand more.
right?
At that
You
time,
got to
she
demand
I
more.
can't
At that
take
time,
a
she
L.
could have and got more. I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe now I don't know where she's at. Like, she even playing this year? I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't
No,
think
I
so.
don't think so either.
Is she bigger now?
Ooh.
I
I say no. I say no.
But she's not.
So
She hasn't-
this is my thing. I think the industry moves so quickly that it's Cardi was the biggest artist in the world 6 months ago, we already forgot.
We got to see
Straight
what she
up.
does next.
No, we already forgot. Like, I think where it's back in the day, you had people run shit for years at a time, right? You know, you think like Death Row, NWA, like even Hove, like Bad Boy, like those were all eras.
Empires.
They ran shit for multiple years. Nowadays, it's like, when was the last time someone was hot for more than 6 months at a time? Even Drake, who's the biggest artist on the face of the world, when he's dropping is huge, and then he disappears. And like, I'm not thinking about Drake every day.
Yeah.
I don't think y'all are checking for Drake. You know, we really have such short attention spans, and we get spoon fed everything. That is, I think, no, I don't think Cardi is as big. She could drop tomorrow and come right back, but
I guess how could we verify that? Like, will we look at numbers? Like, you drop this song at this time. Like, let's say her biggest song right now is the one with Bruno right now. Let's just say that was the case. Would she be considered the biggest now? Or who's bigger than her?
see the Bruno one though, I think is a little different because that's a pop record, right? And I think that
Which one?
lives the Bruno Cardi B, the Please Me,
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh, that's a pop record?
I think so.
Yeah, that's a pop record.
I
That's a
think
pop
so.
record. Yeah.
That's R&B. What y'all?
No, but so
But I feel you, but go ahead.
so this
Popular, I feel you. Go
this
ahead.
and this is my whole thing. I think a lot of the times the distinction between pop or like, I hate the term
I feel
urban
you.
music.
I feel you. I feel
Stupid.
you.
You know what I mean?
Pop.
But
It's just pop.
But just even that don't make sense. You know what I mean? Like, but anyways, I think a lot of the times it's just how the record was serviced. You know what I mean? Is like, is the distinction, like, is this a pop record or is this I don't hear Please Me in the club. I don't hear Please Me at the day party. I don't hear Please Me out the whip on Hollywood. You know what I mean? That's a radio record. I think if you go look at the analytics of people who listen to that record, I would bet you it's 13 to 18-year-olds in Wisconsin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think it was serviced as a pop record.
When you say service, you mean placed into rotation to be heard?
Yes, like the playlisting, the targeted audiences. You know, if that shit was, what was the last Money? If that was the last Cardi single. If Please Me did the same thing Money did, Money wasn't supposed to be a single, right? That shit grew organically through the clubs, through the streets, whatever. If Please Me did that, I think it would be looked at as a failure. Because I don't think that's what they intended with that record. You know, that wasn't for the club. That wasn't for us. You know, that was for the white girl in Wisconsin who likes Bruno Mars and is now getting put onto Cardi B. You know what I mean? I think it was serviced as a pop record.
So the intention.
The intention. Yeah.
Intention behind it. Okay, so now when you talk genres, you say from urban to pop, like, how do you switch between those two? How are they? Because you can do the same thing with the urban record, right? It could be just straight radio.
So,
Or does it have to be, if it's grown organically, it changes the dynamic of which genre it is?
so this is my whole thing, right? How I said it's all about service, right? If Money went number one, if Please Me had the same route as Money, even if it went number one, I think it would be a disappointment because they wanted it to be a household pop record. I personally don't believe pop is a genre of music, right?
Yeah.
Pop just stands for popular music.
Right.
There is no ecosystem, there is no culture, there is no legacy, there is no lifestyle around pop music except for in these 6 blocks in Hollywood around the labels. You know what I mean? Like, think about all the we all work in music. Think of all the pop stars that you've had sessions with that they're trying to break. When they don't break, what happens to them? They disappear.
Yeah.
Because they don't have real fans. They don't have a real culture to plug into. They can't jump on tours and play. You know what I mean? There's not a scene for it. Low energy. But there's not a scene.
That's clear.
There's not a scene or a culture for it to exist in.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Boogie could have Boogie had no radio hits, right? Boogie had no singles, like big pop singles.
Right.
People don't know who Boogie is, and Boogie is super well respected in a culture and made an impact in a culture. And y'all are about to go on tour. All the dates are selling out.
Yeah.
People know who he is, and he's gonna grow in that culture and thrive in that culture because hip hop is bigger than just a chart.
Right.
Pop only exists on a chart.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Hip hop exists in the streets.
Yeah.
You know? So you can live hip hop, and even if your records aren't getting hundreds of millions of spins, you can still live in hip hop and grow in hip hop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's when I say it's about how it's serviced. I don't think they gave a shit if Please Me did well in the streets or if it grew organically, or if it impacted, or if it helped her grow her career. They just wanted numbers.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all they were looking for. It lived on the charts. It was pop music, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That's a good point. Real good point.
With all that being said, though, Cardi B is not dying out anytime soon. So I guess that's who we're asking, right? Is she bigger compared from last year to now?
Yeah.
I just think right now she's on her doing her thing, right? She's being a mom and probably has music coming soon, but right now it's the time. Who's like dominating the sound right now in pop? Like it would be Ariana Grande, right?
Yeah. She's the number one artist I think in the world.
Lipa. She's killing it.
Yeah.
Dua Lipa.
I've
Calvin
still
Harris.
never heard a Dua Lipa song.
I'm gonna go with you on this.
I'll
one.
never. I keep hearing. I keep hearing.
Actually, you know what? I may have had.
I keep hearing her
but not-
name. I've never heard a Dua
She's
Lipa song.
killing it right now. As far
Never.
As pop.
I take the
what's
train.
her big
I take
song?
the train every day. There's always
you
a dude
never
with the
heard-
boombox playing that shit out loud. I've never heard him play a Dua Lipa song.
Internet. I mean, I don't know. She's killing it. But fucking, you never heard that one song?
You can't
One
even
Kiss?
name it. You can't
One
even
Kiss?
name a Dua Lipa
Kiss
song.
was on
You just made that up. That sounds like the most generic song name I've ever heard.
That's what it is.
It's pop.
No, I mean, I don't know. But she's just one purely pop artist I could think of that has like, I don't know. She's not taking any influence from really anything or crossing shit. She's pretty much just all sugar and pop all the way. Calvin Harris.
We need to get Calvin Harris out of here.
It's over.
I'm
It's
just
over
gonna
for
keep it a
Calvin?
buck.
It's over.
Calvin just keeps remixing all my favorite songs and making them some corny like white Ibiza boat party music. I'm not with
That's
it.
hilarious.
I feel
Boat
disrespected. I feel personally disrespected by Calvin Harris.
I'm not
You
even
ain't gonna
tapped
feel
into that man
disrespected
like
when you
that.
get invited to a white Ibiza boat party one day.
You gonna pull up. You gonna pull up.
Hey Calvin, I'm a big fan.
That's how you
What's
operate.
the deal?
Industry talk. Oh, I'm so
Can I
far
call
removed
you
from all that
Cal?
street talk.
Cali
Oh,
Cal?
wow.
Vin, VH.
Dude, Ibiza? What? This boat party is wild, right? Thanks for inviting me. Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh
Okay,
man.
so the pop thing though, with the Cardi B thing. So if the numbers are bigger, I know it went back. I have to go back.
Yeah,
The
look, get
numbers
your
are
shit
bigger.
off.
The numbers are bigger, right? Now.
Industry
in
talk.
comparison- Industry talk. We got to touch it. The numbers are bigger now, right? But it didn't grow organically, and it could have went number one, or it is number one, right? But the fact that it took two different routes makes it popular and it doesn't go through the club, right? But if the song is bigger, are you not a bigger artist, regardless how you got there?
So this is my thought, and this is just purely like how I feel, right? Because there's no culture around pop music, right? Because it's not a genre. It doesn't exist somewhere. It doesn't touch people. It doesn't live like in a space in a certain time. You
Is it
have
the
a hit.
umbrella? Is it the umbrella that surfaces flat Earth? Is that what pop is?
It's
the
just
umbrella?
it's just popular music, you know. It's but it's like, you know, when it's popping, when it's number one, everyone knows it. I think in 6 months, no one's going to care about that record. You know, no one's going to even remember that record. No one's going to be checking for that record. No one's going to play that shit for their kids. Like, hey, you remember this record? No, because it's pop music. There will be a new song that's popular. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Whereas like I'll play the Black Album for my kids. You know what I mean? And be like, yo, I remember this whoop-de-whoop, blah, 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 blah. I'll play Good Kid, Mad City. I'll play Forest Hills Drive. You know what I mean? All these things. Even Cardi's first shit. I'll play the Gangsta Bitch tape or whatever it was called. You know, I'll play Bodak Yellow and be like, yo, you don't understand. When this shit hit,
It's a slap.
you know what I mean? Because it's a part of a culture. It's a part of a history. It's a part of culture's like the new word that everyone throws out, but it has an actual definition. You know what I mean? Like that's a real word in the real dictionary.
in.
You know, we like to throw that word out. It has a real meaning. You know,
Going.
a culture. It's like it's an ecosystem, an ethos, a way of life, traditions, rituals, histories surrounding certain things. So there's Mexican culture, there's black culture, there's Asian culture, there's hip hop culture.
Right.
You feel me?
There's not pop culture.
No, I do not think so. I think pop culture is whatever was popular at that time, right? So if you want to go back and just look at the charts, that's fine. You can, and it'll be cemented in that culture. But when we talk about pop culture as a whole, right? Like when we talk about the past, like what's pop culture, right? We talk about other cultures that had moments in the limelight.
That's a
That
good
were all
point. No, that's
rising
exactly-
up
good point,
into
good point, good point, good point.
popular view.
Yeah,
You feel
yeah,
me?
yeah.
It's not, there's no actual pop culture.
But then that's the cohesive culture, right? Like pulling from all of these different cultures that we all get to see, like you said, the limelight, and it becomes all of our culture.
But so if it just exists in pop culture and isn't rooted somewhere else, I think it gets washed away with time.
So
that's just my personal opinion.
I agree. So the Please Me record, to me, right, I'm hearing it as R&B. Y'all said pop.
It is an R&B record. It's serviced as a pop record.
Don't think about it too much. Industry talk.
Industry talk. Yeah.
But no, so it's an R&B record to you.
To me. But that's what I'm saying. Like it's rooted in a culture, a genre, a style, and then it comes to the light. It's at the forefront now as a pop song. So like these kids in Wisconsin or Minnesota won't know it's R&B. They'll just think it's a song that they enjoy, and then they'll find the roots in that. You know what I'm saying? And that becomes the culture, I guess, in Minnesota, R&B songs.
And okay, so if I think this might be what you're getting at. I think you could find a greater culture through like a pop moment or record. You know what I mean? Because like the first shit that I fell in love with was the Backstreet Boys, which is a direct exploitation of R&B. Right. You know what I mean? No, but it's a exploitation of R&B for white pop audiences. For sure. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And I love that shit. And then it wasn't until later it was like, this is what they were taking from. You know what I mean? And it opened me up to
on the Backstreet Boys. It still holds up to par.
Shout out Max Martin.
Straight up.
Max Martin. Yeah. Since then, you've been eating
snapping for multiple decades. No. But again, tell me why. So why is why tell me why? But so it's like, why is Metro Boomin or Mike Will a bigger name and force to like the ears of people, like in terms of knowledge? Like people are more likely to know Metro Boomin than Max Martin. Yeah. Because Max Martin doesn't really, he exists in pop culture, which isn't a thing. You feel me? Like it's there's not an ecosystem in it. There's not people who make money at every level, who give and take at every level, who live every day. There's not transactions happening every day. There's not a ladder that you climb up on. You know what I mean? It's just one small snippet, you know?
I feel like it's how it's serviced, though. I think the Metro Boomin wants some service. That you hear that. Mike Will made it serviced. Like, that's how the hip-hop culture is bringing it to you. So that's going to be the gold chain. That's the thing you see. It's flashy. You don't see the businessman with multi-millions. He in the cut. He tucked. You don't need to know Max Martin because you find out where he is.
That's what I'm saying. And there's too many people. Backstreet Boys is too many heads for Max Martin. He's like in the bottom of the totem pole of like, you know, the Backstreet Boys names, and then it's Max Martin at the bottom.
Okay, so name one famous white pop executive.
Was it Leo Cohen?
He was a hip hop executive.
Pop?
He was a hip hop executive.
No, I'm saying
yeah. Name one famous pop executive.
I don't know this industry talk, dog. This is all you.
I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm gonna keep it funky. I don't even really know hip hop execs. Like I know off of stuff like just off a riff.
You could name 5 hip hop executives.
Right.
Jimmy Ivy.
Even I can even go. Then you talking about once again how it's service. That in that culture you got to talk. You got to be loud. You got to be this. In the other, you don't. That's not required. It's not gun violence. It's not. You see what I'm saying? Like I
get what you're saying. Yeah, I think it's just we live in a culture, right? Like we all live in hip hop culture, right? To some degree.
Exactly.
You know?
Right.
Yeah. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, because you could do it with another genre. Then name another.
But again, I don't think that there are people who live in pop, who live in that pop genre, unless you're one of the 300 people working at a label or writing those songs. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's a real culture around it. I don't think
Coachella.
I don't. But it's like the people who love pop music, I don't think they're like passionate like that about it. I don't think they're waking up every day and researching it and looking into it and studying the greats, because it's just what's popular, what became popular.
What you're saying kind of clicked for me too, because it's like even with like bands and stuff back in the day, before like you could just make a song on your laptop, you know, you'd have a band that did crazy forward thinking shit, and then like they would get bigger and sell out. You know, that was kind of like the thing.
What's the first band that comes to your head when you think of that?
Damn.
Fall Out Boy.
Fall Out Boy.
Fall Out Boy. Sure. Yeah, for sure. Fall Out Boy.
Doing something genuine in their garage or whatever.
Yeah.
And then now they're like, bro, doing stadium shits, getting beats.
Take This to Your Grave.
Yeah,
crazy.
Fall Out Boy.
Crazy.
Rise Against is a bigger one too. I don't know.
Rise Against.
They fucking punk band or whatever that just like now plays stadiums and shit. But then kind of like, and that goes to what you're saying too, where it's like their pop music didn't really stem from anywhere, exist anywhere. It's kind of just put into that arena and kind of like they just watered it down.
But what's lit, even with that, right? They come from a real culture.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So Blink 182 could put out their shitty ass whatever California EP they did that I didn't like, and it wasn't pop music.
No.
It wasn't, the level it once was to be pop music, but people still loved it because people live that culture. People eat, breathe, sleep that. You know what I mean? And they're checking for Blink 182. They care. I've watched how many pop stars have you worked with that you watched get signed, drop some shit, it didn't crack, and then they disappeared for forever?
A lot.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you live, and now how many rappers have we worked with that they got signed, they put some shit out, it didn't crack, and they just still grinding?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because there
culture.
is like a world to exist and live in, know? And I just don't think that exists with pop.
Damn.
True. Kind of just like drafts
Pop is
people
disposable.
It is. And that's why I think...
Okay, so pop is just a genre. It's not the sound. Because you could have said the Blink 182 thing, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you're saying the sound wasn't pop. So, but how it would have been serviced? Let's say a label picked it up and gave it out, then it would have been pop music.
Because it just means popular music. So at a certain point in time, our ears, we liked rock music,
Yeah.
Blink 182 was at the top of their genre, their culture. So the label said, okay, we're going to distribute this to the masses and make it popular right now.
Yeah.
Like it's not an actual sound. It's just...
Yeah.
Because that is what happened too with their first album. Like they had Damn It and shit, which was like a punk song, and you could see like, oh shit, this has like elements of pop and like catchy shit. And then with their next CD, obviously it was a takeover.
Yeah.
What's My Age Again and shit like that was definitely serviced and distributed like, yo, this is...
That's the thing. I came up in a time where punk bands were playing on like Jimmy Fallon and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, so it's like...
I was going to say, now Juice WRLD is the new Blink 182.
Yeah,
Like, it's
yeah.
literally...
And I get this, right?
Yeah.
So it's... Punk bands are no longer on Jimmy Fallon, right?
Yeah.
There are still bands that play that exact style of music that sounds just like that, and kids still go to those shows.
Right.
Katy Perry, I don't think there's really artists making music just like Katy Perry that are thriving but aren't in the limelight. You know what I mean? Because Katy Perry was pop music.
Yeah.
And I think when it wasn't in the limelight anymore, I don't think there's like this underground pop scene. You know what I mean? Where it's like kids are going to the Katy Perry show.
It couldn't be, right? By definition. It's not
Exactly.
popular.
But pop
underground
executives
music.
are always looking at the underground and taking from that.
Because they understand it's not a real genre.
Exactly.
They understand it's servicing something that has the possibility of being widely liked.
Yeah.
And just servicing something that exists in a culture and is killing it in that culture. It's already tested, and then servicing it to the masses.
Right. Let's expose this fool. That's what they're
So it shouldn't diminish, right? The quality. It should only get better. Why does it get watered down?
Because people start shooting for the masses.
Boom.
Start making casts
because
or-
you have real
hard,
shit.
That's when you die.
You have
hard.
real shit that was created for a culture and then just gets spread to the masses. There are records that we all love that are classics that were number one. You feel me? But Bodak Yellow, that went number one, right?
Yeah.
We could all sit here and say that's a slap. You know what I mean? We're not gonna sit here and have this conversation around Bodak Yellow. You know what I mean? Because that wasn't trying to reach as many people as possible. Nah, it was for a certain group of people, Please Me, I feel like they said, okay, what can we do to get Cardi B in the living rooms of white families in Wisconsin?
Right.
Okay, let's team her up with the one brown dude who the white people like. You know what I mean? Like,
you brought up the fact that people are going to come from my head. You're out here exposing the white people in the industry. They're coming from your head, dog. Just be worried about them. We're not too far away from those guys.
That's facts.
No, for sure.
That is super
For
facts.
sure.
And for that,
Lucian
I'm
Grange
out.
gonna come for me.
For that, I'm good.
Shit. It's the industry is crazy, and that's why I tell artists all the time: don't move to LA. Don't move to LA, because you move to LA, you get caught up in the industry, and the industry isn't real. It only exists here.
That's crazy. I never knew this world existed. Even like, I was born here, but like when I would come back and like see this, it was just like, oh, okay, yeah. Like even being in the industry, I couldn't recognize that it even existed, and maybe that's part of the problem. Even
And I feel like also you've had the luxury that you've pretty much only worked in rap, and you've worked with like people you fuck with that you came up with, you know, deal or no deal, you and Boog are still making records.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't really change. Even the labels rollouts or whatever, I'd imagine that you guys kind of go in there and say, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, working in pop music is a complete different thing.
Machine. Yeah.
It's a machine, you know? It's not, it's a lot more complicated. It's a lot more politics because there's a whole industry around it, not just, you know.
That has to be broken, though. I feel like there's a way for us to be able to break the industry.
breaking it. It's breaking right now.
Yeah.
I feel
It's
like
a mess.
we're watching it fall apart.
Yeah.
It's definitely a mess, and it's been a mess since the internet came out.
Facts.
But like, it's just taken time, technology to develop to where like fools like us can make beats, full on productions on our computers at home with the same potential of reach, you know, and like throw it up on SoundCloud, pay for like a repost on fucking whatever blog or whatever. Like, there are now channels in which we can take direct control, and people like Lil Nas can thrive, you know, based off just like some sincere uniqueness, you know?
Yeah.
And that shit, I think, is sending everybody into a fucking...
I fuck with the
into a
crumble.
panic.
I fuck with the crumble of all that bullshit falling.
It's
'cause-
crumbling.
I'm not gonna lie, you got like the best punchlines. Like crumble, the phrases, like the lines.
They call me
Snap
Famous
it.
Amos because that's the way the cookie crumbles. You feel me? You feel me?
The crumble. We're gonna call it the crumble.
Exposed
We should get like a
these
I feel like we should get like a definition, like line, like the crumble could be like one thing.
Yeah.
Point back to the industry.
It's
falling.
real. It's real.
It's the internet,
That
though.
cookie's
It's
crumbling.
Technology is a good point.
Technology and the internet.
And I love now that too, like, the internet is the final judge. You know what I mean? Like, we're about to get into these records, and I'm gonna play one from the Anderson .Paak album, and it's been out for a day, and the internet has already decided, like, this is the one.
Yeah.
That last shit you put out, we not fucking with that. We love you. Oxnard was not the one.
And I felt the same way today. I was listening to it on the way over here, and I was like, "Oh, it has that feel
Yep,
of like
completely.
this is it," you know.
Even from the singles, the 2 singles he put out, I was like, this is and you know, I think this album is him making his music for his people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it's like, cool, this is my lane. I was trying to kind of explore and do whatever and reach more people or whatever, and he's like, nah, this is my pocket, and I'm gonna kill it, you know?
Right.
So
And if that moves into the pop world, I'm with it because the world needs that type of sound.
yeah,
too,
and
man.
if this becomes popular, I'm with it, but
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
not
with
gonna
it.
make
Yeah, yeah,
music
yeah.
to be popular,
Right.
you
Oh, for
know?
sure.
So, and again, I think the most successful artists are the ones who master being themselves, you know, and aren't
I
worried
agree.
about, because the limelight's gonna come and then it's gonna go, and you could chase it forever, or you could just keep doing you. You know what I
DIY.
mean?
That's why they call it masturbate, dog.
All right, so
that
Free
shit's
Game
done.
Podcast. We got this. This is the first record we're gonna play. Anderson .Paak, Make It Better, featuring Smokey Robinson.
Expose these
Dash Radio.
fools.
Yeah.
How do you mend when your worlds apart? Ooh, carry on. Ooh, from the start.
Hey, so I'm gonna be just the first one to say it. I'm not trying to, you know, have people coming for me, but I think Dre might be the issue with Pac. Maybe.
said that-
you
you said
know,
that solo energy.
You can't say that.
because
Say it
that's
with your
Dre.
chest.
We from the West
that you
Coast. I
whispered
can't. I can barely bring myself to say that. But
I don't know.
I've heard a couple rumors, I guess, or I've heard people speculating that the last album was the album Dre wanted, and then it didn't go as planned, and so Anderson said, "Nah, fuck it, we're gonna go back to what I've been doing." You know, and
hope that's not
and no disrespect to Dre.
No, yeah.
Dre, you know, obviously he's a legend, has accomplished just as much post him rapping. You know what I mean?
I
As
still
an
fuck with
executive,
Dre.
yeah, he's accomplished just as much as an executive as he did as an artist. But it wouldn't surprise me that the executive who's a little removed from the project would pick the album that doesn't resonate with the people, and then when the artist picks it, you know, because he did both these albums at the same time.
Right.
He said that these are the songs from the same time period.
Back,
So
right. Okay, so it's the same. Yeah. I mean, I feel like, I don't know, when you talk about like influence, and it goes to the low-key, the OG conversation. Like, should your OG, if they have better, quote unquote, better foresight to choose the records and know the game, should they not be able to choose it for you? Or is it, once again, you talk about being you and mastering you. Masturbation.
Seez is a master of himself. Let me tell you that much.
That's the power of DIY, baby. Shout out to Anderson .Paak for making young old man music. That's all I'm saying.
Facts, right? Facts. Young old man music.
It's lit.
It's got class.
Oh,
Damn.
I mean, how much influence should your OG
I mean,
have?
I think it should, if it's really your OG, and again, this is no
Of course,
disrespect,
yeah,
you know what I
speculation.
mean?
It's kind
If it's really your OG, that's someone that you're constantly chopping it up with and talking. I mean, even just on a peer level, I'm sure you have the same relationship with Boog, me and Wes, Ochoa and Wes. Like, we're talking about it constantly. And he's like, I think it's this record. I'm like, yo, I like that record, but I think this one works better. I think these it's a constant conversation. And if it's really your OG, I think it's a conversation. If it's an executive, and not saying that the relationship's like this because I don't know,
Of course.
but if it's an executive, the executive is telling you, hey, these are the records, period. You know what I mean? It's not an ongoing conversation from the beginning of the process till the end of the process.
Right.
You know?
Is that wrong? Could they have the foresight as executives? I mean, we're talking business, but could they have the creative art view of what could be the right records?
I don't think so.
No?
I feel like it's kind of like a coach and a player, where like,
that's a good
a
point.
coach is definitely watching from one angle, and a player definitely is like, bro, I'm on this field
I'm on
right
the
now.
field. I'm in the field. Yeah.
I'm running the ball. Like if like you're saying go through the middle, but I see that like whatever.
Yeah, but
like
then there's certain coaches where you got to listen to the vision, but then it's kind of weird in that situation where it seems like if we are going to go by the executive or OG benefactor of Anderson .Paak not being or Oxnard not being the record that it should have been, then yeah, maybe the artist, maybe Anderson was like, yo, dog, like I let you
Circumstantial,
shoot, or I let
maybe.
you tell me how to shoot. Now let me
Right,
show
yeah,
you
let me
how
show
I
I
shoot.
shoot.
And
Yeah.
But I
makes
feel
it
like
go.
the best coaches are just facilitators. Like you look at Steve
right.
Kerr and the Warriors, right? Steve Kerr is not, he's letting Curry do Curry. You know what I mean? He's letting Clay do Clay. Even when Durant came in, the offense changed a lot. He didn't try to force Durant into the offense they were running.
yeah.
They switched a lot. Durant's still running a lot of ISO. He's just facilitating. He's saying, okay, this is what you guys all do best.
Right.
So how can we make this work together?
Yeah,
you
right.
know?
Yeah, for
So
sure.
like from my perspective, let's move the ball, let's do this and that. You know, it's still letting the artist be the artist. You just kind of like, I feel like as an executive, you have to have a really light touch.
Right.
You know
That's
what I
fire.
mean?
That's fire.
You have to be on the outside and be able to just kind of like drop
Tweak, yeah.
Right.
little things in that it isn't too abrasive. No one
Yeah.
feels like under attack. No one feels like, oh, why don't you get out on the court and do it,
Right.
motherfucker? You know what I mean? It has to be this real finesse game where it's like you just kind of slowly guiding them because
Right.
ultimately they got to be the one to run.
Right.
You just
Right,
kind of
right,
like
yeah.
pointing them in the right direction.
So the two sides, like talk about the 6ix9ine situation, the OG situation, like him being offset by. So you got the Clash, you got the 50 coming at you,
Right.
and then you got the 6ix9ine. Like if the player has to listen in order to change it, but if,
Facts, nah, it's true.
It's a balance for sure.
But I also don't
There's a
think 50 was. I don't think
50, bro.
50. I don't think 50 was. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that's a testament to who 50 is too. Also knowing like if you coming through this code, there's no honor amongst thieves. Like you on this field,
Right.
so you coming through my lane, I'm gonna show you what it is. You get cut. Like know what it is because this is the lineage you coming through.
Right.
Versus if we the hip hop community in a certain way we're loving and that's what we do.
Yeah.
So be it. But if you're coming through the rap community, which is an extension of the hip hop community, but
Yeah,
it's
it's a little.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I feel you.
Especially
completely.
with it's literally all boils down to on what you're putting out there, man, and how you want to come at these people.
Right.
And 6ix9ine was just like came through with the machete and was like, if you get hit, you get hit. And little did he know that fools had other weapons, other plans
Flew
to
too
bring
close to
them
the
down.
sun,
You
for
know?
sure. Flew way too close to the
It's
sun.
crazy.
Exactly.
Just
On a
got
very
carried
poetic
away.
way to see that.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah.
So how can we see if Dre did affect this record or not?
Uh,
how
I don't think we'll ever know.
Yeah. Anderson has to say it.
Honestly, I don't think that's anything we ever know. I think if someone chooses to speak on like privileged information or like a time period, it won't be for a long time.
But I'm
We
saying
won't know.
sonically. Could you tell sonically?
Sonically, this album is different.
Yeah.
And there's a
just
lot of
tell.
factors at play. Like, we talk about it all the time, how I think that your team around you is just as important as the artist, right? And so Anderson had parted with his long-term team right before the last album. Even outside of the records, I feel like the album didn't make the splash it should have. Coming off of Malibu, one of the most critically acclaimed albums of that year, of that decade, was up for a bunch of Grammys. And your next album barely makes a splash, even just with how it was released. You know, something to me that doesn't add up. So I do kind of look at the management, his new management, and say like, okay, what was going on here? Was it because of the changeover that things got weird? You know what I mean? Like, or was your old management, what, you know, I know him and Adrian were rocking for a long time, was, you know, did Adrian have more of a play in your career than like you would maybe want to admit? You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of the times, while I do think Kobe still wins championships without Phil Jackson, I don't know if he gets 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Of course.
you know, and I think sometimes like we don't want to give credit to the team at all, you know?
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Obviously, I'm biased on that side of the coin, you know, but
I mean, I feel like what happened too with Anderson isn't too uncommon, because there's even a name for it, no? Like a sophomore slump.
True.
Whatever, like your second album.
But also this was the second album that people were hearing.
Right,
but this
right,
man had
right,
mad
right,
albums
right.
before
No, yeah.
Malibu,
And
you know?
No, yeah.
Probably
I think
still the same effect though, right?
I still think the same effect, because even like
The pressure and
the
whatnot.
pressure of like
yeah.
following, like Good Kid, Mad City, and like fucking.
I know you're not about. I know you're not about to speak about.
He's about to do it. He's about to do it.
You
Go
about
ahead.
to make me
Talk
walk
to
out
him.
this
I know
room.
it's crazy.
Yo.
No, this is a great conversation.
Yo.
This is an amazing.
Yo.
I like that you did this though. I'm actually I like that you went here, because I mean, people would say that's his best.
Best,
To a degree.
best
Right?
Kendrick album.
Yeah,
Best
okay.
Kendrick
Wait,
album.
To Pimp
To
a Butterfly?
To Pimp a
Yeah.
Butterfly.
Yeah, no, I'm on that same page.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
We're on
I
that
thought
same
you were
page.
about to say the
Yeah,
sophomore
exactly,
slump. I thought you were saying.
Exactly.
I'm saying that what Kendrick did was the like antidote to that.
Oh,
you know, like, I'm saying
got
that Kendrick
you.
did-
Yeah.
See how this generation reacts? See how this generation reacts? You guys are all shooting before you guys find out what he has to say.
Well, I was coming. I was
triggered. Like, you guys cannot feel the
What does he
opposite.
have to say? See, this
I was
is
about
why-
to come
This is
for
why
it.
America is the way it is. This type of shit.
No,
It's that type of bullshit.
because I think I don't know who told Kendrick, but Kendrick. I
Jay-Z
forget the-
told him.
Yeah, Jay-Z told him.
Kendrick,
Kendrick
do
was
you?
like, do you, because then they can never tell you
Yes.
to do not you
And look,
again.
look
you know?
how everything that man touches in his own artwork. I mean, it's
Frank Ocean too.
yeah,
Frank Ocean
Frank
too.
is
Yeah.
great.
We're seeing a lot of
Great
people
parallel,
come out and
yeah.
put out the real
Most
music
overrated
after
artist
their
of this
shit.
decade.
What'd you say?
hey, you talk about people coming to mind. He
You're
pushing that.
wildin'.
Yeah,
Hey, Nostalgia Ultra is his best project.
I feel the same way.
Ooh,
Channel
I think
Orange,
they-
I feel
put
the
them
same
all,
way.
like across the board.
You could
for
have,
me.
yeah.
They're different.
They hit
Nah,
different lanes.
no,
They hit
hey,
different
all
lanes.
respect to Frank Ocean. He chose to like go left with it,
Right.
and he lost me.
Yo, he's the
You know,
mo-
what? but
that'll
I have nothing but respect for the artist who chooses to like
He's-
go left on their own path.
Frank Ocean
But
is
he
the new
lost me,
Morrissey.
and
Yeah.
and that happens sometimes.
Yeah.
I always am gonna prefer when the artist goes left and does them than when they go right and try to get on the mainstream path. You know what I mean? So all respect to Frank
Frank
Ocean,
Ocean
but
is the new Morrissey, dog.
But he
He's a
lost me. He
cold-ass
lost
fool.
me. He lost me, and then especially on top of that, everyone coming out saying he's the second coming of whatever. It's like, all right, get this fool the
No, I'm
fuck
not
out of
saying-
here.
I'm not saying-
out, you know,
I'm
like,
saying if you
yeah,
get-
I'm off it.
if you get the
James Blake and Frank Ocean could
I know, I
both
was
go
thinking- I
off
was
in the
thinking
woods
that.
somewhere,
Listen,
have
listen,
fucking kumbaya.
Listen.
We
If
need
you
that.
get what I'm saying, but when I say that Frank Ocean is the new Morrissey, you get what I'm saying. The dude is
I don't know who Morrissey was. I was
Okay, for
born
sure.
in 1990, and I don't listen to old music.
dude. Well, you got to get in touch with all that old shit too.
I don't
It
listen to
matters.
old music.
I'm actually gonna check out
No.
Morrissey. Yeah.
But it's
Backstreet
just-
Boys came out
I'm
in
not-
like 98.
I'm not saying. I'm not
Before
saying,
that, don't
look,
talk to me.
Look, listen to this though, and I'm not saying this to big up anybody. I'm saying it's hilarious, but obviously nobody in the room gets this joke. So for that, it's dead. It's low energy joke. So
Low
it's
energy.
dead.
All right, I think we're running out of time, so let's
Yes.
get to these records. Keyel, what you got?
The baby. It shook. Let's get it.
Who you a
Free Game Podcast. Fuck Frank Ocean.
I'm a young CEO, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Free Game Podcast.
Free game.
The
Let 'em
baby.
know. Let them know,
Baby.
Smiles.
How many
Who
babies
is?
we got? Lil
Two?
Baby,
Two?
Da Baby.
And that's it?
Isn't there another baby?
I'm sure it is. I feel like maybe
Young
one
baby.
more.
definitely another
NBA Young Boy. He's not a baby. He's a
young
he's
boy.
a
He a
toddler.
young boy.
He's a young boy.
He a young boy.
We got every generation of
Young boy.
rappers out here.
That's a product of the Rugrats.
NBA toddler. Oh shit! What we got, CZ?
I already told you, man.
Tell him.
Yeah, off air.
Tell him again.
Yo, DJ, drop that shit.
What song is it? Tell us what fucking song it is.
Reaching Too Much. It's another Anderson .Paak track.
Anderson .Paak, Reaching Too Much, Free
Yeah.
Game Podcast
Play
Dash
that.
Radio.
For all the lovers out there.
Yeah, so we went over on our time.
Talk about it.
Overtime.
It's
Ocho
closure.
is not gonna get to pick a song.
It's all
Not
good.
this time.
Next
He's top
time.
at the list.
You started.
Next
You
time.
started. Yeah,
It's
you
all
get
right.
all four. Next
He
time.
likes Frank Ocean,
boys
so
at
we
the
already
top of
know
the
he was
list.
gonna pick some trash. Anyways, this was the Free Game Podcast. Seezy's here, Keyel's here, Ochoa,
Yeah.
Ezra, Kyla. My name is Smiles, and we out this bitch.